Let's be honest. There's one card in the tarot deck that makes pretty much everyone's heart stop for a second. The Tower. It looks dramatic, it feels intense, and it's got this reputation for being the absolute last card you ever want to see. But is that reputation really fair? Today, we are going to tear down this iconic card and see what's really going on in all that rubble.
For, well, ages, the tower has been seen as a symbol of just doom. It shows up and your first thought is chaos, disaster, everything falling apart. And look, to be fair, that's not completely wrong.
I mean, just listen to this classic take from A.E. Waite, who co-created the Rider-Waite deck we all know. Unforeseen catastrophe. Wow. It doesn't get much scarier than that, does it? This is the definition that has pretty much cemented our modern fear of the card.
But is that it? Is that all it is? Is the tower just this messenger of random, meaningless destruction? Or is there something deeper, maybe something more purposeful, happening in that chaotic scene? Let's dig in.
Okay, so to really get the tower's message, we have to look past that initial shock and awe. We've got to break down the imagery. Every single piece of it tells part of a bigger story. So let's do it, symbol by symbol.
So first up, the tower itself. This isn't just a literal building, right? It's a metaphor for everything we build up to feel safe, to feel important, our ambitions, our rigid belief systems, our careers, even our own ego. It's the whole reality we've constructed for ourselves.
And then, bam, the lightning. This is not just a random act of nature. It represents a sudden, unavoidable flash of truth. It's a shocking revelation, divine intervention, you could say, that hits the very foundation of that reality we built. It's the universe basically forcing us to look at something we've been desperately trying to ignore.
Now, what about the people falling? This is super important. It's not about physical death or injury. The tarot is rarely that literal. Instead, these figures represent us, being thrown out of our comfort zones. It's about losing control and being forced to let go of the parts of our personality that were tied to that false, crumbling tower.
And you see that crown getting blown right off the top? That symbolizes our pride, our ego, our sense of authority, getting knocked off its high horse. It's the destruction of the idea that our personal ambition can somehow place us above the fundamental truths of the universe.
So when you put all of those pieces together, a completely different picture starts to form. The tower isn't just a story about disaster. It's really about a sudden, shocking moment of truth that actually leads to liberation.
And this right here, this is the heart of it. The myth is that it's all just random doom and gloom. But the reality is that it's a purposeful liberation. It's a sudden and, necessary awakening that clears the path so we can rebuild our lives on a foundation of actual truth.
Now here's the real kicker. The lightning doesn't just strike any old tower. It only strikes towers that are built on false, unstable, or rigid foundations. It targets the structures that are corrupted by ego or by these static, limiting beliefs that are holding us back. So you see, it's not destroying you. It's destroying the prison you built around yourself. And this idea has been around forever. The imagery is almost certainly linked to the story of the Tower of Babel from the Bible, which was struck down because of human arrogance. In some of the earliest tarot decks, the card wasn't even called the Tower. It was called La Foudre, that's French for the lightning. It is the perfect picture of that old saying, pride goeth before the fall.
Okay, so the tower is down. It's a pile of smoking rubble. What happens now? This is where the card's true message of hope really starts to come through. That destruction, it's not the end of the story. It's actually just the beginning.
In some spiritual traditions, like the Kabbalah, the tower is a vital step on the path. It's that huge moment of revelation that shatters the flimsy foundations of the ego, and in doing so, it clears the way for us to rebuild our lives based on something real, something authentic.
Let's be super clear here. This whole chaotic, violent process has a deeply constructive purpose. All that turmoil clears away everything that's inauthentic, leaving you with a completely clean slate. The ground is now ready for something much stronger, much truer, and way more aligned with who you actually are. And these tower moments, they happen in the real world all the time. In a relationship, it could be that sudden crisis that finally forces you to be honest with each other. In your career, it could be losing a job that makes you totally rethink what you value. It can be any forced confrontation with reality that completely shatters the status quo.
So, how are we supposed to handle it when the tower decides to show up in our lives? Well, the key is shifting our whole perspective, moving away from fear and toward acceptance.
It's all about learning to embrace endings that need to happen.
This quote just sums it up perfectly. The chaos of the tower isn't there just to destroy your life for no reason. Think of it more like a cosmic reset button. It's designed to help you rebuild everything in a way that's more authentic and way more sustainable.
So, at the end of the day, the tower is actually a sign of hope. Yes, it's painful. Yes, it's completely disorienting. But it is also an incredible opportunity. It's a radical, and frankly, absolutely necessary, new beginning. A chance for some profound and truly authentic growth. So I'll leave you with a question to reflect on. Instead of fearing the lightning strike, maybe we should be asking ourselves, what false or rigid structure in my life is just waiting to come down? What tower needs to fall so that something stronger, truer, and way more beautiful can finally be built in its place?